No problem. No problem.
Okay, the aircraft are downwind. They'll be probably coming around to land. By the way, the two aircraft that you see there, you can buy those in Caledon, or you can buy just the hands. The average time is 3 to 5 years to build. That's if you apply yourself.
Thank you so much.
And it does all the time. Even you in this simulator, you're flying, and suddenly your brain will go, what am I doing? And what do you do to get rid of that discomfort when you're here on the ground and something's not right?
And it's sort of cool.
This will be to the point that you will put $400 on it that the airplane is flying, right? My good friend is a corporate pilot for many, many years. I'm sure he's been disoriented more than once in the cloud. You can have two pilots side by side.
You can go fly for like $500 for 30 minutes.
How much?
500.
Wow, that's not bad.
Oh, I would like to watch that. That one is about to go. She's gonna be flying.
Only one person can go.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. If it was all of us, I didn't mind doing.
Then if
That's a once in a lifetime thing. So.
Then if we're gonna do all of us, then we'll have to pay $1,500.
So I guess you go in there and pay for it.
No.
Oh, they put on, see? You're gonna see it. This is gonna be cool. I would like to.
That's nothing.
That's nothing like the St. Martin one.
Not even that. Even the crop duster I dealt with, it's like it will blow you away. You gotta feather the prop, make sure it's feathering and everything.
Yeah, you can get out this way.
This is the British Mark 1, Mark 1 female, Mark 1 male, Mark 2 that was converted into a supply tank. When the Germans extended the trenches, they tried adding a tail on, it didn't really work. Then you have the Mark 4, then you have the Mark 5, the Mark 5 star, and the Mark 9. That is basically your British World War I. No, they did have a 6, 7, 8, but they were experimental. They were not used actively.
They were kind of like a little tank, which was...
Well, they were actually active, but not in battle.
Look, they're making the kit. They're kind of like the first ever tank in that.
Or scratch building.
Scratch building?
Okay, where there's no kit to be had, you start with this.
Simon, look at this.
That is how the model kits. That's how my models start.
You see this, Simon?
Just bits of plastic.
Don't touch anything.
And there. That's it. That's what I made these models out of.
You want to go see the other side? Come in the corner. Here, and you can go one. Yeah, go over and see, show them. No, go look at the model kits that you got. Look at the models. Second to you. Right here, look how good you made.
Like this one here, that photograph and about 3 others is all I had to go on to build that model.
Oh no,
It's impressive, great job. No touching. He's made them all, isn't that cool?
You see this one here? Okay, so using plastic, basically like this, there are over 180 cut and glued pieces in each wheel.
Really? Wow, great job.
It's the work I've been doing since I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah. And basically that's what got me into the museums field, and I spent 40 odd years as a museum curator. Now I've retired, I'm back to doing what I did as a kid.
Awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Isn't that close?
Because all the before I like anyway, so as long as you have
Now that gun, the original one, museum photo, that was on a battleship.
wow.
Can you see the shell that's on the little cradle? Do you know how big that really is? It is that by that by that. That's how big the shell really is. The shell that thing fired was as big as that whole case.
Wow.
Now, do you see on here, this one, this is an answer. Can you look at me, see the cover? Can you see the little shells inside? There's the real one. That's how big it is. This one here, shells inside.
That's cool, right? That's a good one.
And that's the scale.
And you made all this.
No, I worked on these, but these are also my favorites. But, see the little one? There it is, right there. So that is how big a man is to live. Well, that's how big a man is that. How big is that one for you? Oh, now, that one's big. How big is it?
Was that the
That's the Sept. It's the size of a cruise ship.
What's this whole thing?
Flying through the air at 100 kilometers an hour, dropping bombs on. There's the size of a man.
How many things?
That thing can carry 50 tons of bombs. Whereas that can only carry about a ton.
How many things would you think?
Sure, 100. Yeah.
Do they still have some?
No, those things mostly ended up in the ground for the short time.
Okay, let's say thank you.
It's full of
There is a generation thing on that.
No, it's a magic. All this.
Germany was the first one.
Let me see how she like it or she said
well, yeah.
yeah, you can you pay him here for 50.
And a very good airplane to fly. The pilots that flew it absolutely loved it. It had more horsepower and it was quite maneuverable. So he's going to be doing 2 fly paths. I believe he'll have smoke as well. So keep your eyes open for that. Control. Do not let them touch the aircraft, sit on the aircraft, and don't mutilate or anything with regards to the airplanes. Also, there's no smoking on the grounds anywhere. So that's about it. And please stay behind the yellow rope. The yellow rope is there to protect you, protect the pilots, and protect the airplanes. So with those simple rules in place, have a good time and enjoy our flight demonstrations and our displays. And very shortly, Mike will be going up in the Fokker D7. Like I said, it was one of Germany's finest airplanes of the First World War. It was a very able aircraft in the hands of a good pilot. You can see the subtle changes in the design of the aircraft. The one that's going out now, the Fokker D7. If you look at some of the earlier airplanes, the struts, that is the support members between the upper and lower wing, were quite big, quite fat, quite thick, and that created a lot of drag on the airplane, which of course limited its high speed. But if you look at the D7, technology had come structure-wise in that it was a complete steel tubing frame, and the steel added strength, but it also allowed them to keep the cross-section of the aircraft lower. So the support members between the upper and lower wing are very small. That allowed for a higher airspeed. Made the aircraft more maneuverable, and like I say, in the hands of a good pilot, Fokker D7 was beloved by all who flew the airplane.
I had to get new for that. I don't know if I got the story right, but I remember donating $1,000 to them. It cost them some guy, someplace in the United States.
Interestingly enough, at the end of World War I, when the war was over, call it the spoils of war if you like, but apparently a number of Fokker D7s were brought back to Canada as war souvenirs. And a lot of them apparently were stationed or kept at, I believe it was the Trenton Air Force Base after the First World War.
I think this is a Pratt & Whitney engine. But the ones I worked on, the crop dusts are way bigger.
just asked him. It was a lot of years before I flew an airplane that was younger than I was.
There's a Morrow layover there, and when we were in Oshkosh, that door broke, and I had to get a spring. It's off the Morrow. He used a lot of parts.
We have a lot of unique displays in there.
To get in there? Oh, the restaurant. Right where the band
They're gonna have.
Are you retired now?
Oh, yeah, so they eat. Oh, wow. April of 2018.
Ah, what have been? Bahas laban.
Go, Gay, go.
Okay. Well, I'm trying through emails to get everything worked out. Okay. They said the person said in the email they would send the details of the hike once they heard back from you. So now they've heard. Into it 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is literally.
Nantay ko ang bimanan ng Lucky separately.
It's been 2 weeks.
Kami man go. Kami man go.
Leave it on your turn next.
Cheese.
Put hands in the pocket.
Oh, no way.
Okay.
We got one of those on your trip.
Let's move to the other ones. Let's go to the
Let him go by the door.
These airplanes here, it's fabric over a wood and metal frame. Mostly wood. Well, it depends on where you are on the structure, but it's mostly, this would have been built with a wooden spar, and grids are made out of wood.
Macaulay propeller. Look at his lip.
We got paid in dollars, but they were still paying Canada, pounds in England, and francs in France. The Canadians were carefully spending $1 a day plus the 10 cent a day field allowance if they were actually in the trenches. Unless they got an STD, in which case they lost the field allowance and 50 cents a day. And by the way, we were the best paid, and we had the highest STD rate. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. I teach high school students. They say, yeah, you can't mile up with the trench. So that's my emergency ration, yeah. Yeah, I can hardly resist the urge to break into it. Well, you got issued enough to survive, but if you wanted extras, for example, I know a fellow who does a lot of archaeological digs over there, and they thought it would just be the opposite, but every trench they come up with, they find Worcester sauce, ancient pizza, you know. The food is terrible. Anything you can add to make it. We're having stew 7 days a week. What would happen if we tried pouring gunpowder into it? I don't know, but it's worth a try. After 2 years, it's worth a try, right? Yeah. So when you got time off, you went into town and bought something that wasn't ruined by the army. Fish, actually, egg and chips was the favorite. So when they first started the war, frites. Humphreys and vin blanc, which the British, who are terrible at other languages, refer to as plonk, and that's still a cheap. So this was a cheap and easy solution. Plonk, yeah, but white wine. But I mean, when I was growing up, cheap wine was referred to as plonk. Yeah, and that's where they got it from. My favorite is the Hindi word for overseas is bilate. Which the English soldiers pronounced blighty, and they thought it meant England, so they would talk about getting a blighty wound, and that was one that was bad enough that sent you to England, so you didn't have to feel bad about leaving your buddies in the trench because the doc said you had to go. You know, wow. That's a lighter. Trench lighter.
Still works.
Oh yeah, I haven't put any fluid in it.
What year is that?
This is a reproduction, but they were coming out by 1915, 1916. Yeah, a lot of technological change. But by the end of the war, for example, the private and I wouldn't be carrying stretchers 3 miles in relays back to the casualty clearing. We'd take it to the nearest rough clearing, and a motor ambulance would pick it up. So, I mean, for example, one of my grandfathers was a teamster. Well, that meant you drove horses. It had nothing to do with trucks. That's right. And Her Majesty, her late Majesty, served in the Auxiliary Transport Service in the Second War. And that was full of young ladies from good backgrounds, because who else had a driver's license? That's right. You know, there were no paved roads in Canada in 1914. You know, so yeah, you know. Yeah, like the Red Cross, and that was the thing. So the question here is as to who exactly shot down right there. I don't know if that question will ever be answered. I'd like to think it was Roy Brown. So again, just a warning to all parents, it's going to get a little noisy. Once these aircraft take off and they're going to do the dogfight, there'll be